The big PlayStation Plus redesign is coming June 13th in the US and June 23rd in Europe, and these new details totally got me more interested in the service. With big games announced for the new extra tier, some improvements to older games and special trials for new games in the premium tier, and Ubisoft Plus is playing a big role here as well. Overall, you get quite a lot of free games for the slightly higher price. So let me know if you will upgrade in the comments down below. We'll tell you all the important details here in this video, so a like would of course be amazing, and let's go. If you already have PlayStation Plus right now, then nothing will basically change. You still get your free games every first Tuesday of the month and can continue to play multiplayer games with other people. The only difference is the name, as this tier will now be called Essential, because Sony also is adding 2 extra tiers on top of that with more benefits, but that will also cost you more money. The second tier is called Extra and comes with a special PS4 and PS5 game catalog. So of course, if you own a PlayStation 5, you will get more out of it. And they announced quite a lot of first party games for this tier, with highlights including Death Stranding's Director's Cut, the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut that launched not even a year ago, God of War is part of this, Demon's Souls, the launch game for PS5, Returnal, which also huge, Days Gone is here. They also note Bloodborne, maybe an extra incentive for them to make a 60 FPS patch for PS5, that would be great. We only see Marvel Spider-Man for PS4, while Miles Morales is also for PS5. Of course, we know that you cannot buy the Spider-Man remastered PS5 version separately, so maybe that might be the reason, but I did ask Insomniac if it is included in this PS Plus extra tier. And it's interesting, The Last of Us Part 2 is strangely absent, while again, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut and Ghost of Tsushima the base game launched later. So I think this makes a Last of Us Part 2 Director's Cut more likely, as they don't want to give it away already. And the rumor is of course always that there's also a Last of Us 1 remake coming, and that it's part of an incentive to package that Last of Us remake with The Last of Us Part 2 together for PlayStation 5, and we should still see this sometime this year. Now, next to the PlayStation exclusive, the extra tier will also include access to third-party games, with big ones being Guardians of the Galaxy, Red Dead Redemption 2, Hollow Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, and also a ton of Ubisoft games, including a big one being Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Ubisoft namely announces that Ubisoft Plus Classic will be part of PlayStation Plus starting May 24th. So this means that you can access 27 Ubisoft games next to the other PlayStation Plus extra titles. So others that jump out next to Valhalla are For Honor, Far Cry 4, South Park The Fractured Butthole, and the first Watch Dogs. Ubisoft Plus Classics catalog for PlayStation Plus will launch with 27 titles and will grow to 50 by the end of 2022. So that's pretty big. Now we'll try to include all the titles that were revealed for the second tier in the video description, so you can look at them if you want, but Sony notes that more should be announced closer to release. And we also got the highest tier, PlayStation Plus Premium, which next to classic games, which I will touch on in a moment, also gives you access to brand new game trials. This will let you play 2 hours of a relatively new game. You see some of the games here with more to be announced as well. The playtime will only be counted when you're in the game, which is great. And yeah, the big one is totally Horizon Forbidden West here, with the menu even saying that you can play 3 hours of this exclusive before you are asked to buy the full game to continue playing. And also nice is that any trophy or your game save from the trial period will carry forward if you do decide to purchase the game. So most of these trials will be 2 hours, but I think 3 hours makes sense for Horizon, as the first 2 hours are of course very linear, and it only really opens up once you get the chain scrape, which is at that 3-hour mark. I would still argue that the first like 5-8 hours, depending on the side content, doesn't really do the game justice. It really feels like a true sequel after the Death's Door main mission. So this trial period might actually hurt Horizon a bit, I don't know. But this seems to be the way forward, as Sony is requiring some game devs to provide a free trial for PS Plus subscribers of this higher tier. And this was according to a leaked developer portal message. The game trials would have to be 2 hours long, released within the first 3 months of the game coming out, and be available for at least a year. Now, good to note is that this does not apply to PSVR games. Smaller titles below a certain price, and $34 was mentioned, and also games that are already out do not have to release a trial. And also the PlayStation Store team will create the 2-hour time trials for developers, so it should not be extra work. Still, it will be interesting to see how this evolves, as it could only mean less sales for big games if players can already try it before they buy it, which was never really possible before unless the developer chose to release a demo themselves. That's likely why it's also part of this higher tier, so Sony at least gets some money from this, although I'm curious if they share it as well with third-party publishers. So yes, on one hand it's kinda crappy that they basically put demos behind a paywall, but I would argue that these trials would never have been a thing without this higher PS Plus tier, so that's also one way of looking at it. And then it's actually pretty cool that in the future it seems that we can try every big upcoming game like Gotham Knights and Forspoken before we pay the $70, although I'm sure some publishers will push their trial by those 3 months if the game is not that good. Now, the other benefit of this premium tier is the classic games catalog, with a new user interface with menus that will allow you to save your game at any time or even rewind the game if you want a do-over. And they also note that some titles will include a improved frame rate and higher quality resolution compared to the original launch versions, which should be great. So the first PS1 and PSP games that were announced include Ape Escape, Siphon Filter, and Tekken 2. You see all the games that were announced here. And interesting enough is that remasters that were released on PS4 are also included here, like the BioShock Remastered, the Borderlands Handsome Collection, the pretty recent Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. We'll also try and put all these games in the video description so you can carefully check them out. And PS3 games are also available with this tier, but only via game streaming, with titles like Infamous 1 and 2, Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time, Resistance 3, and some third-party games with Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare noted here, but not the original. So I would not be surprised if that is also because of the rumored remastered of the first game that seems to be coming. So that's similar to The Last of Us Part 2, they wanna keep that game close to their chest and make a big splash when they launch the newer version. Again, I will try to leave the full list in the video description. No mention of PS2 games, weirdly enough, although Sony does say that it's just an early look at the games that will be included. So I would think that more is coming, while we do know the price already, so PS Plus Essential remains the same price as PS Plus today. For $5 extra per month, you go to the extra tier with the big PS4 and PS5 library, and $40 for 3 months and $100 for 12 months. So PS Plus Premium, which will include all the previous extras and also the classic game catalog and the game trials, this will cost you $18 per month, $50 for 3 months, and $120 for 12 months. And you see the price in euro here as well, which is basically the same apart from the price you pay per month. They also say that the included games in the higher tiers will be updated in the middle of each month, so they will add more value over time. Like, I was first on the fence, but I might at least go for the extra tier to play some PS4 and PS5 games I missed, as right now I do not really see any interesting classic games or game trials that I would like to try. So let me know what you think of the redesign and the offering in the comments down below. Subscribe, of course, for way more PlayStation videos. A like on this video would really help me out. And check out my previous Sunday video by clicking on the screen on big upcoming games that were just announced and leaked. Really interesting stuff. For now, I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.